Brad, top two teams in the Western Conference. What does this game look like to you for Saturday?
Yeah, it looks like an enjoyable game with two very good teams, right? I think two teams that are excited about what they're doing right now, and two teams that have, really a good streak at the moment, even though we don't get the points. But I think we are, defensively sound and our structure is good. So two teams that will challenge each other really, really well. And yeah, we know that we can go on the road and pose some problems against opponents and opposition. So we're up for it and we're excited for the game.
Have you guys approached road games any differently from home games? It doesn't seem like you're playing for ties on the road.
No. I mean, inherently the system somehow has never rewarded the tie game. You either win or you lose. So, and that's how, we go to battle. We don't, we want to go all out. We want to be, on the front foot. And yeah, we want to try and win games, whether that's on the road or at home. So I think it's just the nature of our, the way we go about it. And yeah, if we can bag a couple of points in Seattle, would be great. So it's an opponent we have to respect. They have a lot of weapons. They have some dangerous transition players. They have some really informed players, and they've always operated as a team. So yeah, another big challenge for us this weekend.
Brad, what did you learn about your boys this week that you didn't know last week?
I don't think it's as much as learning new things, right? I think we've seen us, handle adverse situations early on in the season. And if I just look at the last 12 minutes, playing at home and the way the home fans, try to help us along the way. You look at Klaus's energy towards the end of the game. After 78 minutes, we go a goal down. And to see us bring, yes, we bring on some guys, but I think the energy of the group, I just remember the one moment where Roman is at the midfield line and we're getting everyone up and this whole energy of the stadium, the crowd, and then we get some crosses off and really dangerous moments. So, this never give up, the never die attitude, don't go down, without a fight attitude. I think that's what continues to impress me, not just impressed me in the last game, that we don't come up with a goal or, that it's an unfortunate penalty and we could have had a soft PK as well. I don't even want to talk about the last game. I think we've spoken enough about it. But, just to see resilience from our group, from a defensive standpoint, we haven't given many chances away. So we want to keep that going.
Coach, I don't know how active you are on social media, but after you guys has lost, a lot of people around the league were pretty happy that you guys lost, and they were saying your luck is finally over. Yeah. Oh, they finally played a real team. Does that kind of stuff motivate you to keep it going?
I think in the first 3 weeks, I had a lot of, friends. And then the next 3 weeks, my phone went pretty quiet, because now it's like, damn, are these guys for real? Or what is going on here? So I've experienced a bit of both, So no, obviously it gives us energy. We thrive off of certain bits of information and some of the data, but we're not really too concerned what the outside chatter is. We just really focused on ourselves and what we can control. So we're trying to control the chances we give away. We're trying to control and mitigate situations that we feel, okay, here we need to work on. So, we start a new block. It's a new window for us. It's a new window of opportunity to go now and start something fresh, start something new. So, what better opponent against Seattle and then at home against Cincinnati next week.
Bradley, Seattle has only allowed 3 goals this season, none at home. What have you seen from them on defense?
Yeah, listen, with Yamar and Reagan, they have some 2 solid defenders, right? Plus they complemented well on the back line with Nuhu and Roldan, and so they have a really good stingy defense as well. But what makes them good is their transition game. Obviously they have a lot more passes. They control games a lot better at home. We've seen on the road where it doesn't really go as planned. They still force a result. So that's one of the things. You almost look at the Seattles of the MLS. It looks like almost the old Fergie time of Manchester United. They always find a way somehow. And now with, out of improvisation, we're putting Morris on the top of the line. He's banging in 8 goals. Now, all of a sudden, you have, really big name strikers on the bench for them. So they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of quality. And for sure, this is a respectable opponent. And, all due respect, they're a very, very good team. So, and even for us to be talking about these 2 teams in the same conference, in the same similar positionings after 6 match days, it's almost like a dream for us, right? So again, for us, it's just a celebration to go now to Seattle. Some of our boys only know Seattle about Starbucks, right? So that's what happens in Seattle. the Europeans, we didn't know what happened in Seattle, So just we're not there for a holiday. We're coming here, we're going there for, points, and we're going there to give them a real tough game.
Bradley, Seattle is either leading the league or among the league leaders in some key categories that you pride yourself in, duels and second chances created. So how are you looking to kind of gain advantages or play against that style yourself?
Yeah, I think obviously being compact and connected, the orientation for us is always the ball, right? I think, we have a couple of number ones on our list as well in terms of league stats and what have you. So again, we can control the things we can control. So if we can come up with a good match plan, a good game plan, how to mitigate, them in transition, how to mitigate them in possession, and how do we be connected to one another. I think we've worked really well, really hard this week about correcting the wrongs of what we thought, where we could have improved from the Minnesota game, especially when you're trying to break down opponents. And we expect a totally different game, I think, this time around. So I think it's going to be two teams going at it from the very first whistle.
Talking about this yesterday, that since Charlotte only 2 goals, the 2 goals off set pieces, what has been good for the defense in this that has limited chances in games like last week where no shots other than the PK?
I think it's exactly that, right? The defense is standing strong, but we defend from the front. We defend from the front foot, whether we're up high or whether we're slightly deeper. Our strikers put in a ton of work and complemented by the rest of the group. So again, with us being ball-oriented, we're just making sure that we're getting numbers in and around the ball. We're trying to limit our, the gaps between the midfield. We're trying to limit balls in behind. We're trying to limit, and that's why Roman plays off his line the way he does. He's really committed to the cause, and he's a real weapon out there for us. So we feel that's an extra defender. So we can be brave to, apply our principles when we're working against the ball. So, again, I think it's 425 minutes now that we haven't conceded a goal from the run of play. So it goes all the way back to Charlotte, like you said. But again, we just have to refocus every week and continue to grow where we're strong and to always get better where we think we can get a step better.
And Rasmus was back with you guys today. What's his situation for
Good.
Saturday?
Yeah, he trained yesterday, he trained today. We'll see. He still has one more training session to get through tomorrow, and then we will decide if it's what's best for him. So he's missed a couple of days now, which I thought was a couple of days longer than I anticipated. So, we'll just have to see how that now trickles down into the next few days and how that looks.
Jabulu Blom, how's he progressing? Could he be a candidate to start this weekend?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's done really well, and we've tried to push training sessions, extra little shifts post-training, and trying to just get him a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker. I think it really took it out of him some of the days he missed, and he really needs a couple of days now to get back to his sharpness, right? So he's an influential player when he's on the ball as well as when he's against the ball. So I think we get stronger when Jabulo's fit and healthy, right? So whether that means he's starting or whether that means he's coming off the bench, you can just see he sets a certain impulse in the game. So he brings a little bit of life, he brings a little bit of fire, and we're going to need all the depth we can get, on the weekend.
Coach, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right.
Jake, you've played a lot of games, not a lot, you've played probably, 6 games in Seattle over the years. What's it like playing in the atmosphere of Lumen Field?
Yeah, it's, playing for Vancouver, the Cascadia rivalry was always there. So it was always Portland, Seattle were the games that you want to get up most for. So those environments, that, atmosphere was always incredible. And it's one of the places where you just want to get up and you want to play there. So it's not anything that's intimidating. It's more exciting.
Is it louder or just more people, or what makes it different?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily louder. I think we've gone into places like Austin and Portland where it's a smaller venue, but it's just as loud and just as kind of in on you. So it's not anything like that, but it's just knowing that the team and how good they've been in MLS, since they came in, it's somewhere that you want to play well and you want to win it.
How have you seen this team's response this week coming off a loss compared to previous weeks coming off wins?
Yeah, what Roman said. You start off the first 5 weeks with wins. Everything's pretty easy. Everybody's happy, and then you have a loss, and you kind of see how guys respond, and the way that I've seen the coaches and the players and everybody in the club respond. It's been great so far. It's been a good week of training. We're focused in. We want we went over our film and what we can do better and what we have to do against Seattle, and I think we're as prepared as we need to be.
Jake, I'm going to refer to the look that you have given, a referee who didn't make the right call or an opponent. Is that something you have to practice, or does that just come natural to you at that moment on the field?
Yeah, I would say this is my 7th year. So, yeah, I think for 7 years I look in the mirror and just kind of go, all right, what's this one going to be tonight? Practice that for like 5 minutes before bed. And my wife kind of gets mad at me because she's ready to go to bed. But, no, I don't know. I think it's just the initial reaction for me is, when I don't agree with something, I try not to lash out, but let it be known that I'm not happy with you.
It's clear on TV.
Yeah, right. That's good to know, I guess. I'll take that.
Go to Santi, Julian, Luis, and then Jen.
Jake, thinking about Seattle's talent and their current form, do you think this is the toughest test of the season so far for you guys?
I mean, I think you take it week by week. So this week is, it's the first and second team in the Western Conference, and that's, we were saying this morning. If you were going to say that we're going to be 1 and 2 going into week 7, say hell yeah, we'll take that. We'll do that, and we're excited to have the opportunity to go into Seattle and get the opportunity to have some points.
Hey, Jake, I want to go back a little bit. There's a lot of talk about, the togetherness of the group and, like, the desire to win. After you came off against Minnesota, you were obviously pretty upset. It was obvious you were upset with yourself. So I'm wondering, like, what was the reaction from your teammates in the locker room after the game, after something like that?
I wasn't necessarily upset. I was, upset at the situation, the play that just occurred. I think you're upset whenever, a penalty is given where you're not necessarily in agreement with. You win the ball, but that's something else. But, when I came off I think Nico was the first one who came up to me and, said, it's all right, keep your head up. We still got time and all that. So it was cool to see, like a younger guy on the team, come up and try to, make me feel better.
Winning is great, but how important was for the team to have a game field that ended in a loss rather than a win?
I don't know if that's necessarily important, to have a loss, but I think it'll show how we respond, going forward. Obviously, you never want to lose to see that response, but now that it's happened, we have a great opportunity to bounce back and, against one of the best teams in the league.
So for City, we've got 8 goal scorers spread around, 2 of them defenders. Another defender due. I heard a Sunday promise challenge that maybe you took on.
Oh, I don't know if that was a promise, but yeah, I think I could be due. I haven't scored in a couple of years, so yeah. I'm usually getting 1 a year, so yeah, it'd be nice to have that one on Saturday, but we'll see.
Go ahead, Matt.
You and Johnny Nelson have the most minutes logged of anybody outside of Roman Bürki. So how is it managing your intensity and your fitness in the style of offense and defense that we have, where you're constantly pushing up and having to track back so quickly? It seems like what's asked the most of players on our team are fullbacks, and so it's kind of a sign that it's you two that have logged the most minutes.
Yeah, it's, to keep fit and to keep, your body at peak shape, it's, trusting in, your coaches and in your, medical staff. There are days where I feel really sore and, I get, needles, cupping, any type of thing that I can do, cryo chamber. Like, you just need to take advantage of all of these things that you have to make sure that you're ready to go, 90-plus minutes. And, something that I think I'm good at is running. So, I think that that's something that, in my career I had the athleticism to do for 90-plus minutes, and I'm happy to do it.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Can you speak to Roman's ability to play with his feet, especially like last game? How much it helps you in the back line, kind of having that fit defender and being able to move up?
Yeah, I mean, if I had Roman's feet, I think I'd be a lot better player too, to be honest. It's a pleasure to play with, somebody who has that kind of experience, that kind of skill, and the pedigree that he's come from. He's a leader on and off the field, and to have, to be able to have that outlet when you're in trouble, or to break lines with a goalie, that's something that I don't think a lot of teams in this league have at all. So it's a big benefit for us.
Would you have liked to have, though, kept your playing every minute streak going? You were the last guy other than Roman to be out there all the time.
I'm not too worried about that. No. Yeah, I'm more worried about results there. Yeah.
Kyle was saying that he caught you pretty well on the penalty kick play. How well did he catch you?
Yeah, I got a black and blue still on my foot. Yeah, he stepped on me pretty hard, and unfortunately didn't end well.
How imposing is Seattle as you guys look at this game?
I think we know that they're a good team. They've always been a good team. I think last year was the only year that they haven't made the playoffs in their MLS career. But it's exciting for us. It's another challenge. It's another challenge for us to play against one of the top teams in the league, and I think we're going to take that head on.
Jake, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Cool.
Roman, something different this week, coming off a loss. How has it been? Has it been anything different at practice this week? Any different feeling within the team coming off a loss?
I would say there was a little bit more fire in the sessions. So we definitely noticed that we haven't won the last game. So there was more fire in the sessions, and that's good.
You guys have gone a long stretch of minutes without a goal in the run of play, a PK and off a corner kick. What is this team doing well defensively right now?
Obviously, in defending chances. Right now, I haven't had a game where I had to make a lot of saves. I mean, that's one because we have a really good structure defensive-wise. Second of all, is that the whole team is defending, not just the sixes and the defenders, so the whole team. And also a little bit of luck sometimes, of course. But I'm ready when they need me, and I always try to be awake or ready in the game.
Julian?
Roman, you guys know you're playing the Sounders next. As a goalkeeper, and especially with the defenders, does it excite you guys to play such a great attack that has Jordan Morris and Nico Lodero leading it?
Yeah, but I think they're excited too because they play against Klaus and Joaquin.
Roman, back to playing at Lumen Field in Seattle, artificial turf again. Can you talk a little bit about that? You guys already played against Portland on artificial turf, so can you talk about that, how that impacts you?
Yeah, it's not always easy to switch, but luckily we have a turf here as well that is what I heard similar. So I think we will do one session tomorrow on turf, and because last time it worked out. Of course, in Portland was not our best game, but we won, and that's the most important thing. So we hope that we can repeat that.
Roman, this match is going to be played in a stadium that is built for American football. A, have you ever played in a stadium that large? And B, as a goalkeeper that sees the entire field, directs your teammates, does it change your perspective playing in a stadium that large?
Large in like how much capacity?
The capacity, but the building's huge.
So I played with Dortmund in Seattle, to be honest, a friendly, a few years ago, and I think from the capacity wise, I played in bigger stadiums, but I mean it's not about the stadium or about the capacity, about the fans. It's about how strong Seattle is at the moment. They look really dangerous in attacking, and that's what we are thinking about now at the moment. But on the same page, we know what our strengths are and what we can do better compared to last game against Minnesota to finish this game as a winner.
So after the game with Minnesota, looking ahead to Seattle, the styles are pretty vastly different. So how do you mentally kind of pivot from learning what you needed to learn from Minnesota to being ready to handle that Seattle attack that you were mentioning?
So I would say we lost the game against Minnesota not because Minnesota was so good. I would say we lost the game against Minnesota because we were not good enough. So we had not the same energy on the field. Like it felt like we didn't have the same energy on the field like the weeks before. We usually when we have when we are under pressure, defensive wise, without the ball, we score at the right moments, like in the games before. So we had the chances to score a goal, but we didn't score. So the pressure became more and more. And I think when we look at Seattle, they are a team who are very, very, very intelligent, tactical wise. And but I'm sure that we will find a way to make it difficult for them.
Roman, what have you learned about your teammates this week that you didn't know about them before? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's always easy if you win all the time, you know, or 5 games in a row, everything is good, sunshine, everything. But yeah, I learned that we have actual winners and fighters in the team, like guys who can speak up, can get loud, a little bit trash talk here, trash talk there. What is, I would say, is good for a team. You know, after the training, they look into each other's eyes, they smile together. That's how it should be. You know, on the field, we want to fight, we want to win, and off the field, yeah, we are friends. We are like. I would say almost, for me, it feels like almost a second family, you know. So I have really good friends here, people I can talk to. And I think after the last game, after the loss against Minnesota, we were angry, you know. And that's good in one way. And because I feel the power now that we have the energy to go to Seattle and make it very difficult for them and hopefully good for us.
Roman, you obviously played at a very high level in Europe and you have a ton of experience, but is there anything that you've learned or that surprised you about MLS so far?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played in a system like the playoff thing, so I'm very surprised, and I really like that there's not one team who's just like a favorite, like who's winning everything. There are multiple teams. You may think, okay, they could be better this season, but like we do now, nobody expected us to win 5 games. I think if you look at the predictions, the most we had through the whole season was 4. So it's unpredictable, and it's really good, and I like how this goes in MLS.
Roman, when you are going up against attackers, you're always going to find attackers in your area. There's a lot of buzz right now about Morris, of course. Do you look at attackers like that, even like our own Klaus, any differently than any other attackers when they're on a tear right now scoring?
No, I most likely look at set pieces, like penalty kicks where he shot the last 5 or 10 penalty kicks, free kicks, and but not especially like just goals out of the game, because it doesn't matter what he did before. The game is very situational, and I always have to adapt my position. I have to change some things. The most important thing for me is like just make it difficult for the striker and let him make the decision, and I can react to that. And that's always one thing I try to do. Of course, I know that he scored a lot of goals, especially in the last, or almost in every game. So he's very dangerous, but everyone in our team knows that. So I think we will be well prepared.
We got time for 1 or 2 more. Go ahead, Tom.
All right, that reference of seeing the fight in your teammates, was that reference to yesterday's practice with the?
That was not a fight. I mean, that
Yeah.
was just a little bit like fire in it. You know, that's nothing bad.
Mhm.
Sometimes that happens, and I think that's good.
Mhm.
It's not. It's good as long as you can go off the training field. You look
Mhm.
in each other's eyes, you shake your hands, you laugh
Mhm.
together, and that's it. Because
Mhm.
I mean, everyone wants to win. Sometimes
Mhm.
maybe a guy had a bad night, not enough sleep. Maybe it's a little bit easier to get angry, you know. And yeah, that's how it is. We are humans, and sometimes that happens.
I noticed they were partners today in the soccer tennis match. So
Yeah,
it looks like it's. Is this team played any different on the road? You know, it's always play for a tie on the road. But have you seen any difference in your style of play when you guys have gone on the road where you haven't lost yet?
Not really. I mean, there were always similarities in every game. Like we had always a time where we had to survive, like where the other team put a lot of pressure on us. But in the away games right now, we always survived. And like I said, we had like always on a hard time, we answered this time with a goal. So I hope that we can do that again and to make that to our standard almost, that we always when we have a hard time during the game that we score and take a little bit pressure off us, and yeah.
We'll wrap up with Matt.
I was curious how you handle communication with your back line. So the nature of our system has the high press, and so they're tracking back pretty quickly. Do you find yourself kind of barking out orders or suggestions on how they move and where they cover? Do you leave it to them? Kind of, how do you view your role tactically during a match with communication?
During a match, yeah, it's most likely I try to help the whole defensive line and the sixes, because usually the 8 or 10, the strikers, they can't hear me anymore. And yeah, it's just like try to talk to them. Sometimes it's not necessary, but I just want to talk to them to be like keep in touch, you know, be maybe for myself sometimes that if the ball is not near me for a long period of time, I just have to stay in the game, you know. So I do that also for me. Sometimes it's just like, hey, well done, and just something like this small. But usually I just try to tell them, because I see the whole game in front of me, like the position, if the distance between the left back and the right back is too big, maybe I tell them to shift inside. That's basically it, yeah.
Roman, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.